Hello and welcome back, my incredible AP Insight family. Abby Phillip here. The Department of Homeland Security's top official, Secretary Kristi Noem, often dubbed Ice Barbie in certain circles, is back under the spotlight, and not for anything related to border security. This time, fresh revelations about a chaotic incident aboard a Coast Guard aircraft are dragging her long-rumored extramarital relationship with advisor Corey Lewandowski right back into the public eye. The pair are facing tough questions once more about their personal ties, their conduct in official roles, and now, exactly what sparked that mid-flight outburst that nearly left them stranded. Let's cut straight to the core of this latest storm. Reports continue to swirl around an explosive confrontation that erupted roughly 2 weeks ago during a routine government flight operated by the Coast Guard. What started as whispers about a forgotten personal item has evolved into something far more intriguing and potentially damaging. Multiple sources across government circles have painted a picture of dysfunction at the highest levels of DHS, where personal tempers flare and official resources get caught in the crossfire. To set the scene properly, Secretary Noem and her close advisor, Corey Lewandowski, a figure with deep roots in Trump world circles, were traveling when their original aircraft developed a mechanical problem. They switched to a backup plane to continue the journey. During that hurried transfer, something critical didn't make it aboard the new flight. Initial accounts pointed to a simple blanket, something personal and comforting that Noem reportedly relies on during travel. The crew apparently overlooked transferring it, sparking an immediate and intense reaction. According to people familiar with the events, Lewandowski stormed toward the cockpit area in frustration. He reportedly confronted the flight crew, demanding accountability for the oversight. The situation escalated quickly. The pilot, a seasoned Coast Guard commanding officer named Keith Thomas, was abruptly relieved of duty mid-flight. Orders came down to have him find his own way home commercially once they landed. But here's where reality hit hard. There was no immediate replacement available to operate the aircraft safely. Within minutes, the decision reversed. The pilot was reinstated, the flight continued, and everyone arrived without further incident. That alone would be embarrassing enough for any cabinet-level official, a public display of authority that backfires because basic logistics weren't considered. But recent reporting from outlets like the Daily Beast and Daily Mail has peeled back another layer, suggesting the blanket story was never the full truth. Insiders, at least 3 with direct knowledge inside DHS, have come forward to clarify that the real trigger wasn't a cozy throw at all. It was a personal bag belonging to the secretary that got left behind during the plane switch. Think about that for a second. A blanket makes for a convenient, innocuous explanation, something minor that anyone might get upset over. But a bag? That implies contents someone desperately wanted kept private. Sources close to the matter told reporters the item in question contained things described as highly embarrassing, if exposed. At least 2 individuals on the crew reportedly became aware of what was inside, adding fuel to the urgency of the meltdown. Why go to such lengths over luggage? Why not simply have staff handle standard transfers without drama? These are fair questions that demand answers. Instead of straightforward accountability, we've seen denials, partial walkbacks, and silence from key players. Lewandowski has pushed back on parts of the narrative. He insists he never formally fired anyone and avoids confirming whether he physically entered restricted areas like the cockpit during critical phases of flight, actions that could raise serious safety concerns under Coast Guard protocols. The pilot himself, Keith Thomas, offered no public comment on the record. Interestingly, not long after the episode, Thomas received a promotion to a senior advisory role within DHS. Coincidence? Or a quiet way to ensure discretion? Records indicate the move happened, but motives remain unconfirmed. This isn't isolated behavior. Broader investigations into Noem's leadership at DHS reveal a pattern of high-pressure management, frequent confrontations with staff, demands for loyalty tests, and a revolving door of personnel changes. Lewandowski, classified as a special government employee with limits on his official days, has been described by some as operating like an unofficial chief of staff. Questions linger about his access to sensitive processes, including potential involvement in contract awards to firms with ties to administration allies, arrangements that could invite scrutiny over conflicts of interest. The relationship between Noam and Lewandowski has fueled speculation for years. It's widely regarded in Washington as one of the capital's poorest kept secrets. Both are married to other partners, both have families, yet reports describe them spending considerable time together, professionally and otherwise. Sightings at events, shared travel, and close coordination have kept the rumors alive. How do you square that with public service obligations? How do the children involved process the whispers that inevitably reach them? And yet, amid all this, the affair that's barely hidden, the power dynamics, the personal indulgences, the thing that apparently terrifies them most is the possibility of that bag's contents becoming public knowledge. More than the optics of an extramarital entanglement, more than the unprofessional outbursts, it's whatever was packed away that prompted the panic. Let's be clear, no one is alleging criminal activity here. These are accounts from credible journalistic sources drawing on multiple insiders. But the pattern is troubling. Taxpayer-funded travel disrupted by personal whims, official authority wielded in fits of temper, a cabinet secretary whose priorities seem tangled between duty and private life. If Secretary Noem is tuning in tonight, here's a direct thought. Next time, handle your own belongings. Delegate less, control more personally. It might prevent headlines like these. Lewandowski, for his part, seems comfortable carrying heavy loads, figuratively and perhaps literally. Maybe take a cue from that approach.